Hi, it's Cara from Enchanted Vines, and today I'm going to show you how to take some of this beautiful ribbon from TMI Gifts and make yourself a beautiful spring summer bow with our Easy Bow Maker. Let's go. All right, we are going to do a tutorial using our Easy Bow Maker. We're also going to be using this ribbon wrangler, which is from Garden Charm Boutiques. You can find it at gardencharmboutiques.com. And then all of the ribbon is from TMI Gifts. Anything that you purchase at TMI Gifts, use promo code CARA20 and you save 20%. And boy, do I love that code. Okay, so I have been super excited to use this ribbon because it seems very Monet to me. It's very, very spring, summer, and I don't know, it's just it's a very happy color combo. So I think I'm going to use all four. We're going to see about the top one. Okay, in addition to our wired ribbon in different sizes and patterns, we're going to be using our Easy Bow Maker. We are going to be using a zip tie, and we're going to be using our scissors. Okay, so to start, but I'm also going to throw this in here. So I keep all my ribbons organized by using these little map tacks. Okay, so these are from Target. These bigger ones are from Walmart. And yes, the packaging is super cute. However, these thin ones work a lot better. Okay, so starting with my bottom ribbon, which is going to be our widest. It's 2.5 inch. Wired, and it's got nice scalloped edges, a little bit of texture there. And I'm going to make my first tail. It's going to be about 1 foot long. Not a hot dog. All right, we're going to make our first set of loops. We're going to make them 5 inches. Okay, so it tells me right on the Easy Bow Maker, not just a name, here is the 5-inch mark. Okay, so I'm going to measure it on each side. And what I'm going to do, especially for the first set, because if you get the first set accurate, you can just overlap. I'm going to just kind of push this down so I know I'm at that 5-inch mark. When I go back through the dowels, I'm going to give this a nice crisp twist so that the front side of our ribbon is facing down onto our Easy Bow Maker. Okay, I'm going to measure 5 inches, a little press there. Go through our dowels. These are our dowels. And twist. Okay, and we're going to repeat that. So that we have a total of 6 of these loops. Okay, and every time we're doing it, we're doing the same thing. So the reason why I say like crisp twist is that I really struggled to learn how to use this for a while. And it was because I was just kind of like throwing it through and like, I don't know, not crisply, hold on, how would I say this? Not crisply twisting. Anyways, okay, I'm not even going to bother editing that out. It's not even worth the time. Okay, anyways, so I'm going to make a total of 6 of these. Crisply twisting. All right. Tales of a wreath maker. All right, so this is my 6th loop. And so to end this, I'm going to make the tail go down this way so it matches our other one. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut it. And to keep my ribbons on wrangled, because it does get to be, they can kind of get all over the place, I'm just going to put my map tack right back in there so that this is contained. All right, so we're going to start off with our next ribbon, which is a 1 inch yellow. Looks DuPont-y to me. I'm going to say it is. All right, so I am going to have my first tail just be a little bit shorter than our first set. So let's say around 10 inches. Okay, we have our front part of our ribbon facing forward. And now we're going to measure, let's do 4 4-inch loops. Okay, so starting the same way, it goes through the dowel. I'm going to measure the 4-inch mark. Okay, just right here. Do blue and gold or yellow just not pop? Oh my gosh, they are such a beautiful, beautiful color combo. All right, so we're going to do 4 of these, repeating that process. And this is a beautiful color yellow. I will include the SKU numbers for these in the description just because I think that they are so pretty. If they were meh, I might not, but I am loving these. All right, so we're gonna make 4 of these loops. And so every time I'm just kind of giving them a little press in the middle before starting the next loop. Just turn that off a little bit. It's okay if we have to adjust things as we go. This is an enjoyable process. We are not going to be stressed if we don't do things exactly the right way. And you know what? We're crafty people, so we figure it out. All right, so here is my 4th and last loop. So I'm gonna, again, make a tail. It's gonna be about 10-ish inches. Give that a cut. And I'm just gonna wrap this up and tie it off with our map tack. They're just better than pins because they go through, but like you don't have to worry about like poking yourself. Okay, this ribbon is gorgeous. Okay, so this is from, I'm just going to show you. So it is TMI Gifts, but the maker of it is this deluxe ribbon, and I can think the backs of it are considered fused maybe. And I have several ribbons from them and they are all just top tier quality. Okay, so very, very excited. I know I sound like a nerd, but I have been waiting to use this for several weeks now. All right, so I'm gonna measure a little bit shorter. So let's say 8 inches. And like, there is no bad side here, none. So what I'm gonna do is let's do some 4-inch loops, okay? Because this is the showstopper right here. So I'm not going to be cheap with it. Okay, so this is nice and thick wire. This is, again, like top tier quality. So because it is super structured. Because it's super structured, it's not as easy to work with in the sense of it's not as thin. Okay, so you got to use a little bit of your bow making muscles here and make sure that you are fully kind of pushing it down to get those nice loops. And we are going to do, let's go with 6. I want to go and buy all of this ribbon. Ribbon hoarding is like, I don't know if it's diagnosed, but it's a sickness, and I certainly have it. I have it. I don't have a cure. I don't want a cure. I cannot stop buying ribbon. It's terrible. I would tell other people to stop because it's expensive, but I also know I'd be a huge hypocrite. So I digress. All right, so this is the last of our 4-inch loops. Okay, so now we're going to let the tail drag down. I guess about 8 inches. And I wasn't sure if I was going to use this last guy, but I'm thinking let's use them a little bit and then we'll come back in with like one more pop of this. Okay, so this one is 7/8 of an inch. It's a little guy. All right, so this is just to break it up. So let's do a 3-inch loop. 3 inches here. Twist. 3 inches here. Bow making is just one of those things that once it clicks, it clicks. And I'm still in the learning stages myself, so believe me, I've got a lot of room to grow. However, the more you do it, just the easier it's going to get, the more the muscle memory is going to kick in. And when that happens, you know, you kind of go on autopilot a bit, that you're not overthinking and critiquing everything because you've done it so many times. Okay, because sometimes we are just our own worst critic. It's not a good thing. We don't need that negative self-talk. All right, so I'm just going to do 4 loops there. I'm going to bring this down Okay, cut it. And then I want to use just one more of this, just so it's just what we see right on top. And so this is going to be, it's probably going to be about like 2.5 inches. I'm not going to measure it, but we call this like the button, and it's just like that center part of our bow. Okay, and both sides of this tail are going to end up going down the same way, and that's okay. All right, so now we're going to take our zip tie. You can also use a chenille stem. You can use floral wire, whatever you prefer. And first, before we use that though, we're going to just spread out our loops. Okay, we want to make sure that they're fanning out so that we have it full in every direction. I don't really worry too much about here because the tails are definitely going to be falling there, cascading, and I don't really want them to be moved or even like covering up nice loops. So, all right. How pretty. This is like, this ribbon is legit straight out of an art museum. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, and now we're gonna go, so I'm starting from the back and I'm just kind of spreading these guys out. Okay. All right, now we're gonna take our zip tie, okay? And we're gonna get ready to lift this off the dowel. So I'm gonna be using my thumb up top, and then I'm gonna be using like 2 to 3 of my fingers underneath just to support this, okay? And so I'm gonna slide this up. We're praying to Jesus that he loves bows and he wants this to come off neatly. So you got to keep a really firm grip on this, and you want to have your zip tie ready to go. Okay, because if you're like me, sometimes your hands get tired or arthritic, and then you can lose your grip on things. All right, so I'm sliding this zip tie in and over exactly where the indentation is from the dowels. If I did it off center, it would mean that one side would have larger loops and the other side would have smaller loops. So if you should initially put this off center, I would say leave the zip tie in place, grab a second zip tie, put it in the centered position and tighten it, and then go back and cut off the first one that was in the wrong spot. So you don't have to start over. You just need to adjust. All right, so I'm tightening this as tight as I can, okay? And before I go fluffing up all of my loops, what I wanna do is I wanna just finish my tails, okay? So my rule of thumb typically is that for 2.5 inch ribbon, I like to dovetail. So when I dovetail, I'm gonna fold this in half, and I'm gonna cut up at an angle, okay? And what it does is it cuts this little triangle out. If you do it and it looks more like this, it just means it was done the opposite way. There's like a parade of dogs running through here, so something is going on. Maybe UPS, maybe not. Okay. And when it comes to smaller ribbon, I like to just cut it at a diagonal, okay? But I like to cut them the opposite way. So if this one's cut like that, then I want to cut this one like this. These dogs are messing with me with their high-pitched noises. Okay, so let's repeat here. Cut up at an angle. You know, if you do it at a sharper angle, you're gonna have like more of a dramatic cut. This guy's hiding. It's like he knew I was coming for him. Okay, and then when you've got the good stuff like this and you have both sides that are beautiful, what I like to do is, instead of cutting it at all, I want to showcase this because, you know, this is an expensive ribbon. We want our customers to see the value. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it over a little bit. I'd say like, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to fold it again so that the edges are nice and neat. but you can see that both sides of this are beautiful. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Do that for all 4. Making sure they're generally about the same size. I'm terrible with guesstimating, but it looks like I'm pulling it off here. All right. And we have one more. Okay. And now we're going to go through and we are going to fluff up all of our loops. So I like to start in the back, and what we're doing is we're just putting our hands in and just spreading out that wire. Okay. And so like if you're putting this on a wreath, it's okay if it gets smushed. This is why we use the wired ribbon. You're just going to fluff it back up. If you are shipping this to a customer, whether it's on a wreath or just the bow on its own, I like to ship it using tissue paper in each of the loops. One allows it to arrive to your customer the way they saw it listed, you know, if you have it on your Etsy shop or something. And then also it's a nice way to give a tip on how to store it maybe off season when it's not in use. Because if you have a product that lasts, it doesn't mean you're not going to have customers come back. It means they're going to come back for more because they know the quality is there. All right, getting to our front, little navy loops. Oh, I skipped these. Okay. Oh my goodness, so pretty. This would be great for like a lantern swag or something, because really you don't even need flowers to compete with this, or you'd have to use something that just is not nearly as colorful. We don't have to, but I feel like the bow is definitely the star here. All right, and so here is our ribbon. And you can either, so for the back, you can snip this off. You can put floral wire underneath it to secure it to something. You can also, I like to just take a chenille stem or two and just lay it right over where the zip tie is, just because I don't want customers like touching anything that could be like sharp. Okay, and so I'd lay it over here and then twist it in the back with some slack so that then they could attach it to whatever it is, whether it's like a tree topper or their mailbox, their lantern, whatever. So here is our bow. Again, TMI Gifts. This ribbon is on point. Promo code CAR20. Save you 20% on items that are already very well priced. And this was, again, the brand was called Deluxe. So yes, here it is. So if you enjoyed this video and you like designing with me and want to design with me more, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, guys.